God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. Yeah, God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need. Yeah, yeah.
Good morning. Welcome to Centers for Spiritual Living in Granada Hills. We are on the north part of the San Fernando Valley. And yes, you are not confused. This is a little Freaky Friday here. We're in the Twilight Zone. So I am Staff Minister Nicole Robbins, and our presider today is Senior Director Reverend Mike McMorrow. So please join me taking a deep conscious breath as we do the service, lighting the candles of faith. It's a call to service. We perform the ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all people and all faith, all sentient beings, come from one great universal presence, which we call spirit. Fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here today. As Reverend Mike lights the first candle, it is for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. As we light the second candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practice of all indigenous people, the way of primal spirituality. As we light the third candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the fourth candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the fifth candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the sixth candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the seventh candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the eighth candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light the ninth candle for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. We light the 10th candle for all of those who are yet unaware of the Spirit in their lives and for the space we hold them for here at our center and online. As the Reverend Mike lights the healing candle, please put silently into the light the names of anyone you wish to have experienced the healing flame of God's eternal love.
take a breath with me here. Oops. As we just surrender and know in this moment that there is but one love, one heart, one mind of the divine, both impressing and expressing itself in, through, and as all of life, and that we are one with it. And so we fall into this idea that we are one with the Spirit, that the Spirit is expressing in, through, and as our life. And so from this conscious unity with the one, from the one, I name and claim that this service is an unfoldment of divine right action that we know for Reverend Nicole as she presents her message today, that it is just a sweet sharing from the download of Spirit, that our musicians express the joy and the depth of the living Spirit, that this day unfolds perfectly as an expression of the one life of the divine. That in this attunement with the one, we see its full demonstration easily and effortlessly. So we take a breath and release. In deep gratitude and confidence, we release it to that aspect of the mind of the divine itself, acting as law. And so it is. Amen. So I'm actually Reverend Nicole presiding. No. It does feel kind of freaky though, doesn't it? All right, so I would just want to share with you, because I only have 5 minutes to pontificate instead of 25, so here it goes. I was on Facebook yesterday and I saw a posting where a guy says, so what makes the science of mind or religious science a science? Well, that's a good question, isn't it? And it was interesting to watch people chime in and kind of dance around the answer, which to me seemed fairly obvious, but not very juicy. Right? So, what makes the science of mind or religious science a science? Well, we start with the notion that there is a power for good in the universe available to everyone, and we can use it. Right? That we believe that our thought impresses itself upon a law of mind, which returns to us according to that faith. That in order to prove this in a scientific way, then we have to kind of define what science is. So I went on Merriam-Webster's, and it says that science is a knowledge or a system of knowledge covering general truths or the operation of general laws, especially as obtained and tested through the scientific method. Well, that's clear. Well, what's the scientific method? The systematic observation, measurement, and experiment and formulation, testing, and modification of hypotheses. Well, now we're getting somewhere. And what is our hypothesis? That God is. You know, God as a placeholder word is. It's all power, and we can use it. So the notion that there's only one life, that life is God's life, that life is perfect, that life is my life now. And that my thought, when aligned with this living presence, expresses itself in my outer world. Now, what does this mean is that in order to prove this notion that God is, I must use it. And the way that I use it is to speak my word with confidence into this notion that there is a law. Now let's see, I thought I had this in here somewheres. So in the textbook, it actually has a big old long explanation of what the law is. It is this whole notion of the creative process of the subjective, the individualized use of the subjective individualized use of a universal mind that operates as law. So what does that even mean? Well, how would we prove that? Well, if we look into the outer world, we can prove, for instance, a law of electricity. Right, so the law of electricity, there's three basic rules. Electricity will always flow from the higher voltage to the lower voltage. Electricity always has work that needs to be done, and electricity always needs a path to travel. So how can we use this thing called the law of mind in a similar way? Well, the law of mind will always want to flow from a higher voltage or presence to an individualized or lower voltage. That there's always work that needs to be done. And that electricity, and the law needs a path to travel. So if that's too much of a stretch, then try this one. That love will always want to flow from a higher expression to a lower expression. Love always has work that needs to be done. Love always needs a path to travel. And coming at this teaching from that perspective, you will see, as I have, come to see that there's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life, and that life is my life now. So we'll have Ken's gift of music.
Don't wake love before it's time. Don't do anything unkind. Let the world around you see the lights around you. Try to have a little faith. Don't do anything in vain. Let the world around you see the lights around you. Beauty fades and temples raised for kings that will rise and fall. The atmosphere, it will disappear, but love outlasts it all. Love outlasts it all. Yeah, yeah. I behold the voice of my beloved upon the mountains and the hills. Let the world around us see the lights around us. See the white doves in your eyes. Oh, my beloved, how you shine. Let the world around us see the lights around us, 'cause beauty fades and the temples raised for kings that will rise and fall. The the atmosphere, it will disappear, but love outlasts it all. Love outlasts it all. Yeah. Love sweeter than the taste of wine, far beyond the realm of time, flowing through your heart and mind. Love makes the lilies of the field unfold, the rivers and streams run home. It's deeper than the flesh, it's deeper than the flesh and bone. Yeah, yeah. Beauty fades and temples raised for kings that will rise and fall. The atmosphere, it will disappear, but love outlasts it all. Love outlasts it all. Yeah. Love outlasts it all. Yeah, yeah. Love outlasts it all. Thank you.
All right. You can give Ken some love in the chat there.
Yes.
And also, if this is your first time visiting us, so if you have friends from Reverend Nicole out there, you're most welcome. And make yourself known on the chat. Say hello. And you can also, if you care to, you can go on to our website and leave your email address and get the latest of what's going on. Of course, all of that is happening online. So, welcome. So now we're going to step into our declaration of principles. So again, when you're ready, you can join me in saying that we believe in one universal spirit manifesting through all, natural and incarnated in us. We believe the universal spirit is personal to and reveals itself through everyone who recognizes its presence. We believe our faith operates upon a law of mind which automatically manifests in our experience according to that faith. We believe in the unity of all life and the immortality of the individual soul forever expanding. We believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the givingness of life to all.
We let the love wash over us. We let
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Ken. Your voice is beautiful. So this month's theme is stepping into the unknown. And I must say, after not speaking here for almost a year, it's great to be back, and I feel like I'm in the unknown. Everything's changed around here. And I needed, when I got a text from Reverend Mike asking me if I wanted to speak, I was thinking, yeah, 5 minutes, I can do it. But then he said some other things in the text, and I was like, wait a second. I think he wants me to do the main talk. I'm like, I haven't spoken in a year, Mike. Are you crazy? But you know what? I love jumping in the deep end and swimming with the sharks. So thanks, Reverend Mike. I'm going to do the best I can. So, not a lot of that. So, when you step into the unknown and it's the right thing, you get guides. You get people to help you on the way. And Reverend Mike said, hey, check out the listserv. There's some notes about the talk, and there's some little assistance there. So when I went there, Natalie Beth Liguri from CSL Geneva, Switzerland, she helped prepare some notes from this talk. So road trip when we're allowed to Geneva, Switzerland to go to the CSL out there, I'm all in for that. So in March, Reverend Mike was talking about visioning. What do we hope for? What do we need to release? What's in our highest good? Like, as we're sitting down meditating, what are the things we want to call forth in our life? This month, we're going to begin our journey to live from our vision redefined. Through this month, we're going to embrace change, curiosity, as we navigate this new path with practical spirituality. So the talk this month today is Winds of Change. A lot has changed and not much has changed this past year. For me, I've been so focused on my tennis business that I haven't spent much time on this ministerial path. This has been such a tough year coaching. Out of the last 30 years, kids come to tennis lessons strung out because they've been in front of the computer all day. Parents come to the lesson because they've been dealing with their kids and the computer and the job. And so I don't know who to say no to. I've just been teaching nonstop. And then I go home, I pass out, I'm totally exhausted, and there's no time for me to focus on this ministerial journey. Part of my, when I'm teaching tennis, I get to pick up tennis balls, and that's kind of like my me time. I go around, I pick up tennis balls, and I ponder thoughts. And then the other day, this thought popped into my head. Hey, Reverend Nicole, isn't it about time we start looking back into your ministerial path? We've been so focused on tennis this last year that maybe it's time to figure out how to get more Instagram followers, how to drive some people to my spiritual website. And I was thinking maybe do a TikTok video, a little spiritual TikTok video. But in order to do that, I would have to make a change. I would have to reassess my time and to put more time into the ministerial instead of tennis. So how do I make this choice to how to spend my time? And sometimes the biggest storms introduce themselves in the slightest breeze. I just had a quick thought about my ministerial. What do I want to do with my ministerial career? What do I want to, is tennis the path? I went to school for all these years for ministerial. What do I want to do? And that thought just passed through my head, and then I went back and picked up more tennis balls. And then I got this text the next day from Reverend Mike. Isn't that fascinating how that little thought just breezed through my brain and went in one ear and out the other, and then the next day, I'm being offered the main talk, the Sunday live stream on the internet for eternity. I was just thinking maybe I'll do a little TikTok video and a little that, but the universe said, hey, how about giving the main sermon on a Sunday at your center? Ooh, I have to stop and pause for a moment when I think about that. It's just amazing how Spirit meets you just in your thoughts. Thoughts are things. I just had that thought, and here I am, Sunday service. So this past year, I've met someone on a dating app. He's in London. And usually I don't swipe for people in London because there's no point in swiping because you're never going to meet them. But it was COVID, and you couldn't really date anyone anyway, so I said, I'll swipe for him. And we formed a friendship, and we've been texting on WhatsApp a lot. And he swiped for me because he got a job in Los Angeles as a soccer coach over in Carson. But guess what? COVID hit, and everything got shut down. He's stuck in London. He's not allowed to travel. His California dreams went up with Corona. He had a really hard time in lockdown. There's some weeks we wouldn't talk, and sometimes we talk a lot. But he was struggling what to do with his life. He had this plan, he had this goal, he had this vision. He was moving to sunny California. He was going to be a soccer coach. He was going to hang out on the beach. And now here he is in his London flat with, London weather and California weather. LA weather's a little bit different. So, so a really cool thing is we started talking a lot about our spirituality here at our center and the practices and principles. And he started watching metaphysical shows, meditating, doing visions for how he wanted his life to feel like. And if you keep the goal in mind, refusing to be baffled or defeated with uplifted thoughts and a calm but definite purpose, we cannot fail. So he kept his head on, he kept going strong. It took almost a year, but the day came when he got an interview with an elite soccer academy on the East Coast. He clicked with the owner, they were finishing each other's thoughts, they're willing to sponsor him, they hired him an attorney to get his visa. He's starting on October 1st. So sometimes spirit supports our higher good by not giving us what we want. It isn't pleasant, but what is ours cannot be denied. It just might be delayed. So once Biden opens up the country for non-essential travel, I'm sure he'll come out here and travel around before he starts his new job. And if you come to LA, I'm going to drag you here to our center. We also have freedom is the birthright of every individual. We are free to choose and create our experience of life. The only freedom we have is our choice. Our choice. Viktor Frankl said that. He had a choice. He could have stayed in chaos, upset, and anger about what was going on in his world. He lost his dream job. He was stuck in lockdown. There was no jobs on the horizon that would help lift him get out of his depression. But he did it. He meditated. He changed his thoughts. He focused on on the positives. It was his daily practice that he had to work at. Some days it wasn't so great, but he did. He stayed the course. And this is really a brilliant example of how not focusing on the conditions around you, but consciously staying true to your spiritual practice can bring you freedom. Then there's my brother, who knows nothing about science of mind, even though I'm his sister. Maybe he knows a little bit. But he has been saying for years that he wanted to move to Colorado. I think for several years his password was Colorado 2020 in some form. I'm sure he has since changed that. But he had no idea how this was going to happen. He had an office in Encino. He had to go to each day. He was a partner in the company. He had to manage people there. He was even talking about selling his business. They were exploring many different options, but it seemed impossible. Like, how was he going to get from LA to Colorado when his business was in LA? So he did a trial run. In March of 2019, the first week, he flew out to stay with some friends in Colorado to see if he could work from Colorado and if he could even survive the Colorado winter, because our weather out here is a little bit different than Colorado in March. But guess what? A week into his stay, lockdown happened, so he had to fly back. So his opportunity to see if he could work from Colorado was shut down because of conditions out of his control. He came back, they downsized his office, and as we know, everyone learned quickly how to work from home. He's at home, it's working, so he started looking at properties in Colorado. His friend in Colorado went and looked at a couple, did a little FaceTime walkthrough, and in August he closed on an amazing 10-acre property. And that's the view of his backyard now. Pretty, not so shabby, I would say. He has 10 acres. This was the day I was there. It snowed about 3 feet the day before I got there. So my brother doesn't know our practices and principles, nor does he have a conscious spiritual practice, but he had a vision for how he wanted his life to be. He reaffirmed it every time he logged onto a website, Colorado 2020, 2020 Colorado hashtag, exclamation mark 2020 Colorado hashtag. He went from disappointment of having to come back to LA and turning this challenging situation into an amazing positive one. The law, as Mike was saying earlier, operates through our thoughts, whether we're conscious of it or not. Instead of being confused by the situation around us, we should be calm, tranquil, and confident that through reforming our words, we can easily change the existing condition as perpetuate them. In my studies these past few years, I've heard a lot about Richard Rohr talk about order, disorder, reorder. Life can be comfortable, yet miserable at the same time. I've done the same job for 30 years. I know it inside and out. We want order even if it isn't for our highest good. It can be scary to step into this unknown. I could have said no to Reverend Mike, and just kept on teaching tennis, but I stepped into this disorder. People stay in unhealthy relationships, unfulfilling jobs, and situations that don't serve them because the unknown is scary. I wasn't sure, oh my gosh, talking for 20 minutes online, no one around, this is crazy. But if you don't take that risk, this giant cosmic 2x4 comes and knocks you off your feet and forces you into disorder. It could be a health diagnosis. It could be getting fired. Your partner can leave, a car accident, or something called a pandemic. So a pandemic can all of a sudden uproot you, and what you expect life to be can all of a sudden now be different. These times can be super painful and super confusing, and the dark night of the soul, these are the times we really experience the most growth. In these moments that we are broken open and can release these blockages in our lives, otherwise we hold on to them with resistance. When we let go and allow the winds of change to speak to us, something magical happens, reorder. If it has your name on it, if it's supposed to happen, it will come to you. Now, I know what you're saying. Reverend Nikki, Nicole, I don't know what my name is these days, Charlotte Nicole, Reverend Nikki. Good for the guy in London, and good for your brother, and good for Richard Rohr. But you do not understand. My situation is so much worse. I have this health condition. My child is misbehaving. My child is in jail. My child has a drinking problem. My partner, same thing. My fill in the blank is not working. It's just not working. You just don't understand. It has nothing to do with order, reorder, disorder. There's just nothing I can do about it. Now, if you're saying something like that, I really ask you to look inside. How are these thoughts serving you? Are they serving you? Take a deep breath. What is preventing you from stepping into this unknown to change the situation? Is it easier staying in the situation than surfing on the winds of change? Might be kind of fun to go surfing. Are you willing to just dip your toe into that water? Just take your toe and just a little step, or turn and look that way, or just consider. Or as I like to say, are you willing to run an experiment? Just for today, I'm going to try such and such. I'm going to be willing to just say a positive affirmation. I'm going to be willing to send love to the situation. I had a mentor who said to me, send love to the places that hurt. And I always thought he meant emotional pain. Like, oh yeah, we'll send love to the emotional pain or to the relationship. But also to your physical body. Is there a part on your body that hurts? Can you send love to that part of your body? Can you send love to that relationship? What would happen if you believe that there is a possible solution? We don't have to have an idea what the solution is. We just need to know that it is possible. My fellow classmate, Reverend Veronica, and I, we talk a lot about how our dream church would be up in Mammoth. We would go sermon in the morning, skiing in the afternoon in the winters, and then hallelujahs in the morning and hiking in the afternoon in the summer. That would be a really great sermon on the mount, huh? Get a little Emmett Fox up there. And I have no idea how that would happen. I have no idea. It seems like I have no idea. I have friends up there who's willing to help us. We know our good friend from our center there who'd be more than willing. We even talked about it when we went to visit him, about how he would help us set up a center. I have no idea how that would happen, but I'm going to be open to that possibility that if that is what my calling is, there will be some mountain town that needs a minister where I can go skiing in the winter and hiking in the summer. I have no idea what that looks like or how it's going to happen, so let's just see how this unfolds. In Science of Mind, we talk about the degree that you allow yourself to become less resistant to the upsets in life. You can embrace opportunities and move into a new direction. You have a choice to stay in the comfortable, the order you know, or take a step into the chaos and disorder, opening yourself up to release these blockages and make the choice to create a life that works for you and everyone. As Jesus says, "Whoever believeth in me will do the works I am doing, and they will do greater things." So this is that Christ consciousness within us. We can create our realities. As you consciously pose yourself in the realization that you are pure spirit, new power will be born within you. You will find yourself renewed by divine life, by divine intelligence, and guarded by divine love. So repeat after me. I am consciously aware of the presence of the Spirit within me. I am consciously aware of the presence of Spirit within me. This is who I am. I am a divine being having a human experience. And the things going on around me are just the human condition. But the truth is, I am this divine presence having this experience. So what are we going to do? How can I create this life? I'm in chaos. What do I do? Well, there's some practices to help us during chaos and release these blocks from living our best life. One of the spiritual practices that we can do is gratitude. Thanking Mother, Spirit, Nature, family, friends, any form can enlighten the mind and make us happier. Keeping a gratitude journal. I remember reading Dear Abby one time, and this woman wrote in saying how she and her husband were having this huge fight and they wanted a divorce. And Dear Abby recommended that she write everything she was grateful for about her partner and when they first fell in love, and just expressing gratitude for her partner. So this went from almost a divorce to happily ever after. So is there someone in your life that you can do this for? Because it's almost impossible for anger and gratitude to exist in the same space. And the more we reside in gratitude, the less will we reside in anger. And we can even do it for fear, for a situation. I'm grateful for this situation, or I'm grateful for this person. So I really invite you to look at the experiences in your life and see where you can apply this gratitude to. Apply the love, send love to it. You know, the practice of gratitude, gratefulness for each condition which arises in our life can lead us to be more open and willing to embrace the opportunity for change. You know, as we deepen our spiritual practices of welcoming everything into our life and see blockages and disappointments as opportunities, gratefully accepting them with an open heart, you surrender to the normal process of order, disorder, and reorder, which propels us forward for the vision of our life. This practice opens a way to embrace change with the openness, with curiosity, and with renewed commitment to the vision for our life, and opens the way to make choices that are in alignment with our vision. Listen and feel that soft, gentle wind, that breeze that blows against your face as it swirls around you, embracing the change. Your soul is ready for you to embrace your magnificent self. So doing the vision that we did last month with Reverend Mike, meditating about it, just feeling, releasing stuff that no longer serves our highest good, this is what's going to change our life. This is what's going to help us step into that unknown and get through it. So I just want us to just go in and just really sense that gratitude, the grace, the presence that's within us, knowing that we can accomplish whatever we want to accomplish. That is our divine right. So I invite Ken to come back up. And I would like to read this poem that kind of expresses everything that we were just talking about. It's called Winds of Change by Dr. Prashant Bhatt. When I go to bed and close my eyes at night, disappointment strikes. I'm impaled by hate and fight. I wake up in the dream, my hopes go estranged. I look up to the heavens to plead for winds of change. Hovering clouds of doubt reveal a ray of light. A brighter sun will shine after the darkest night. I shut off despair to let my thoughts rearrange and brace up for the challenge to blow the winds of change. I wake up in the morning, sun is shining bright. My heart is full of zeal, I focus of a kite. I pledge for love and peace, seek nothing to exchange. That's how I will strive to sail with the winds of change.
Even the sparrow has a place to lay its head. So why would I let worries steal my breath? And even the roses you have clothed in brilliant red, still I'm the one you love more than this. You give me everything, you give me everything, you give me everything I need. Yeah. And even the oceans push and pull at your command, so you can still my heart with your hand. You tell the seasons when it's time for them to turn, so I will trust you even when it hurts. Everything I need. When I can't see you lead me, when I can't hear you show me, when I can't stand you carry me. When I'm lost you will find me, when I'm weak you are mighty. You are everything that I need. You give me everything. You give me everything. You give me everything that I need. Yeah. Everything I need. You give me everything. You give me everything. Everything I need.
Thank
you. You did a wonderful job, by the way.
Oh, thank you. I think we need a little more love for Ken in the chat for his beautiful voice.
Thank you. I accept jelly beans.
You accept jelly beans and tithes. So now we're going to do the offering. It's my first time ever doing the offering. So on our website, there's the donate button at the top. I think Reverend Mike's been saying this stuff a lot, so we should know it by now. But for all my friends out there who haven't been here before, check out our donate button. There's PayPal options. There is on your phone. There's so many ways to donate. And it's the law of circulation. And this is on our YouTube channel, so those of you watching it on YouTube. So on Facebook, there's many ways to give to our church. This is a wonderful center, and I'm just very blessed to be here at this center. And I just want to say thank you for everyone for your support. This has been a terrific journey. And like I said, this is my first time. I'm feeling a little Tom Hanks and big right now. So, so thank you. So law of circulation, abundance. This world is abundant. So please, please give to our center if you feel called to. It's so important to us. So as Ken goes into our offering song.
Spirit gives through me. Spirit receives. Spirit lives and breathes through me. Spirit lives and breathes through me. Spirit gives through you. Spirit receives through you. Spirit lives and breathes through you. Spirit lives and breathes through you. Spirit gives through us. Spirit receives through us. Spirit lives and breathes through us. Spirit lives and breathes through us.
It's with a grateful heart and such deep gratitude that I recognize the One, the Divine Spirit, the law, knowing that giving is coming back tenfold. I just give blessings to our offering, those who donate, and those everywhere. So, sorry. I know, it's like my first time. So for such deep gratitude, I say thank you, thank you, thank you for everyone, for all the, I know I'll do it, for the churches, the temples, the mosques, the universities, for the people who support them, for the people who go there. And with such deep gratitude, I say thank you, and so it is. Woo-hoo. So thank you, Ken. Thank you, Evan. Thank you, Mike Carlin. Lovely Rita. It's so wonderful to see you here in the back. I would like to call our head spiritual director, Reverend Mike McMorrow, to close us out.
How do you feel?
Woohoo!
So, didn't she do a great job, everybody? Give her some love in the chat there. So I did not give her a formal introduction because we like to flow. We like to flow into the message. But you know, Reverend Nicole would have had this opportunity to speak long before now, and so and with a room full of people. So we have a few things to do when we're free to gather again. One of them is to honor Reverend Nicole properly with a formal installation as a staff minister here at our center, along with the ordinations of Reverend Jessica Fish and Reverend Kathy Lyons. We haven't had a chance to do this yet, so we have that to look forward to. Nice job.
Gotta work on the offering.
Nice job. You can work on the offering and obsess over that later. But for right now, just know that for your prayers and intentions and treatment requests that come in through the week, that they're represented in this prayer box. And so whatever your intention is for the week, I just call that to mind as we take a deep conscious breath, and to recognize, to remember, and to know that there is but one power, one presence, one source, one life, one living intelligence, both impressing and expressing itself in, through, and as all of life. Think of it as God, Christ, consciousness, Buddha, mind. Think of it as love itself in expression. And so we know that this day has been a day of joyous recognition of consciousness of a trained mind that is far more powerful than an untrained mind. That we bless Reverend Nicole and her brother Pete out in Colorado, and whoever her soccer buddy is, I think I forgot his name already, that for all of those in our community needing a spiritual shift and a lift of any kind, that we are knowing the truth for them now, that we live as radiant good health in abundant prosperity, that we are open and receptive to a creative download even now with new and dynamic ideas to propel us into the next dimension, that our relationships are connected and loving. So we take a deep breath, and in that release, knowing that we are releasing to that aspect of the law of mind, an expression of perfect unconditional love that knows only to say yes as a law of its own being. So in deep gratitude and confidence, we release it now, knowing it is done, knowing it is so. And together we acknowledge this by saying, and so it is.
Please join us at home singing the peace song. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be, with God as the power, united all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take